So we love subcontracting, partnerships, collaborations, and every step of the way, you can almost set up your company that way until you get to a point where you're like, it makes more sense to bring it in-house.
Yeah. Welcome to another episode of No Followers Podcast. I'm T. This is Bob. And we are here today to give you useful tidbits of practical business insight. Our topic today, Bob, I'm over here.
Buy versus lease, other ways of getting what you need without having to put out all the other ways.
Without having to put out one.
T.
Sorry.
With your intro, I don't even think you know where you are right now.
I'm a little punchy. It's been a long week. But
that's what's in your cup, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
You.
It's helping. So we're talking make versus buy versus lease, how to get from here to there.
Subcontract, partner, million ways to do this.
Yeah.
And it's something we talk about with our clients and our members all the time.
One thing I like to think about is...
Just cut me off.
Yeah, I thought you were done. You were kind of trailing.
I was inflecting for emphasis.
Yeah, emphasis. Yeah. One thing I like to think about is what is the UVP of you and your company? Like, what is the thing that you bring to your manufacturing process?
The other part of that is that phrase I coined.
Please.
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
I'm just absorbing all the crap you said for the first 20 episodes.
Sure. Don't reinvent the wheel. Trademark phrase. Yeah, I mean, do you want... Well, I won't speak in vague generalities, I suppose. I'll speak specifically.
Just don't do any accents this episode.
There's for sure going to be an accent.
You can't. I get too much crap. No one writes to you. They write to me.
That's why I do it. It makes me happy.
It's all about you, T.
Yeah. But even so, like the equipment that we have right now, we're of course looking at new equipment, but the equipment we have right now is geared towards prototyping. What does that mean? It means that it's not set up to run a specific part or specific batches of parts. What that means is that while we are a little bit less efficient and the machine is a little bit slower than larger production machines, we are set up to quickly run different parts. So I can run your parts in the morning and Tom's parts in the afternoon. It's perfect.
I need some new parts.
Yeah, we got you. But it's perfect for what we do and what our value add is. We do prototyping. We work with customers. We were just talking today. One of our customers did a mid-run design change that he asked for. We were halfway through the run. He decided to add a feature to the product, and so we're incorporating that into what we're running now.
But that feature came directly from a client.
Yes.
It wasn't just an idea. It was
market
driven.
Yes, right. It was something that they...
I just want to make, because I don't want to confuse
There was a reason for it. It was a convincing enough reason that we said we should do it, and we made a quick change, and now we're running it with that change mid-run. And our equipment is set up to change over quickly and set up for that. If we were running pallets or this, that, the other thing, it would be a different setup and operation.
So just for listeners and viewers who aren't in our incubator, these are some of the things you should be writing down if you're going yourself to a manufacturer to ask about how fast is the change, right? Because some cannot.
Right. I'll be honest, and I'm not... This isn't meant to self-aggrandize or pat myself on the back, but...
It's a big word. Can you spell it?
Definitely not. It was on my word of the day calendar. Most job shops, and this could be a whole episode unto itself, but most job shops and contract manufacturers, they will build your parts according to your print. That means you need to have tolerances, specifications, all that kind of stuff called out on there. They are not necessarily going to be concerned about if you ask them to make part A and part B, they will not necessarily check, does part A mate with part B the way it's supposed to? That is your job. The way we work is we approach your product like it's our product. So we run part A, we run part B, we make sure they fit, we adjust the model, we adjust the programming, we check it, then we do your production run. That's the way that we work with individuals and small businesses to get them to market without wasting a bunch of money on useless parts. If you go to contract manufacturing or job shops, you are going to have to navigate your print, your inspection, all that kind of stuff to make sure is what you need. So just keep that in mind with your make versus buy decisions. But as far as whether or not to bring it in-house or outsource it, it's about your capacity. It's about your resources. And
It's
again,
about where you are in your life cycle of the product.
Yep. And what you want to be doing. If you're going to spend $500,000 on equipment, what is your plan for that equipment? Are you going to use it on a product after that? Is this only good to make one part? And if you're not making that part, you can't use it anymore. You're probably better off outsourcing that.
Yeah, and early on, we recommend, and we even do it with when our products from the incubator go to manufacture, we're partnering with the manufacturer because we can't do it. We don't have that expertise. We also don't have that capacity. So we love subcontracting partnerships, collaborations, and every step of the way, you can almost set up your company that way until you get to a point where you're like, it makes more sense to bring it in-house.
Yeah.
But most people, they go to lease before buy because they're told it's cheaper, but they don't read the material, right? We're big proponents of just know what you're getting into.
Yeah. What's the useful life cycle of the equipment? What's the support for the equipment? What's the support after a certain period of time for the equipment? Training, setup. If you're in manufacturing, you're going to have to know about rigging and how are you going to move the equipment and get it into your space and all that kind of stuff. So getting, as we always say, the right resources at the right time. I would love to have a shop filled with state-of-the-art CNC lathes and mills and plasma and every piece of equipment I love. The question is, how long is that equipment going to sit and not be used? The equipment that we have now is used pretty much every day. I keep that mill busy every day of the week. So you want to be operating, at a certain percent of your capacity. That's up to you to decide what that is based on your business model. What we do here is small batch, high quality. That's what we focus on. And then when you need a certain level of production, we make sure you have everything you need, and then we hand you off to a contract manufacturer to get you there.
I think to help our followers and think about how to make the decisions, what questions you should be considering, right? Because a lot of times they miss what questions. The biggest one between buy and lease is leases typically come with clauses that will give you the newest product development updates. Mm-hmm. If you buy it, it's yours. And it's locked at that time that you bought it. And I always go back to, people always think I should be leasing cars. I drive 60,000 miles a year. No one's leasing me a car.
Yeah.
I would love to lease a car.
Yeah.
It's pointless. It also tells me in my buying decision, never buy a truly new car unless the deal is phenomenal, because that car is not going to be that useful by the end of year one.
Yeah. Well, I'm as you know, I'm a big proponent of used equipment. Take a little more time, find the right equipment that fits what you need and buy it and maintain it and keep it active for what you need. But you brought up a very good point about like service contracts, especially for equipment. If you buy some older equipment, you can get a good deal on it. Do they still make replacement parts for it? Or once it goes down, are you done? Is that now a scrap piece of equipment? But lease versus buy, like cars is a good one. My wife is a lease person. I am not. I am a buy person. I do all my own maintenance, mostly. I like doing it. I work on it. I do all this kind of stuff. She needs the peace of mind of knowing that everything is new. My truck is 14 years old. I mean, I love it, but it's 14 years old. She doesn't like to get into over 100,000 miles and blah, blah, blah. And she gets peace of mind from knowing that there's a service contract, there's this, that, and the other thing. Leases work for her and her driving style. I'm like you. I put a lot of miles on my stuff. I use it a lot. I like to buy it and own it. So it's what your intended use is for what you're going to do, what your intended service life is for the equipment.
I think that's really important to inventors.
Yeah.
To really look at if I have to buy a piece of equipment and I can't partner with somebody. And listen, there's a ton of manufacturers out there that will gladly take your job. So your answer isn't always let me go build it myself. But if you have to, are you an expert on that piece of equipment,
right,
or do you need somebody else to come in and do how much servicing? It's like the copiers at any office. People have these copier contracts because no one knows how to repair them, and they break all the time.
Yeah. Well, like I'll give you an example. The milling machine that I have, they don't offer factory service in this area, at least. So I do it myself. They have a great...
You're just showing off now.
Yeah, I'm just showing off. They have a great great customer service team who they will send you video links for how to troubleshoot your problem. The cost to replace worn out parts is I just had to replace the spindle in it. It was like $1,000. The cost to replace the spindle in the Haas that I want is $10,000. So yes, it is a smaller machine. It runs more slowly. It does everything I need. It's cheaper to maintain. It fits for that purpose. I will always have that machine for prototyping, even as we move into more production parts for the new equipment that we're looking at.
Even with the new space we're getting?
Even with the new space, I will always have either that machine or a comparable machine.
So we got to move that thing?
For prototyping. Yeah, move all this stuff.
I'm going to be sick
also
that week.
Looking at forklifts. If anyone knows of a forklift for sale, hit me up. But yeah, it's the service, it's the useful life of it. And it's also, we talked previously on another episode about process. When you have your process map and you figure out like, all right, in this step, I get the raw material, I cut the raw material on a saw. If you're buying a piece of equipment that is for a step that is not time intensive, is that the right piece of equipment to be buying if you are bringing it in-house, right? If I have a piece that it takes 4 hours to machine on my current equipment and a new piece of equipment knocks that down to 1 hour, but I buy a new saw, well, the saw was a minor part of that process. So I spent money on a new saw, but the saw wasn't the bottleneck. You know what I mean? So make sure that as you're improving your equipment, you're improving your process.
And I think for any new, I always like to partner or sub out because I can learn. And some of it I learned that I never want to do.
Right. Well, it's like injection molding.
Right.
We're working with a product right now that's plastic. I have zero interest and you have zero interest in setting up an injection molding.
And we don't have any space?
Yeah, well, I mean, we definitely have no space. But so we have partners that's all they do is injection molding. They guide us because they're also expert in what it takes to do that. We are expert in what we do. They are expert in what they do. We partner with them to get the best possible product for the customer. So again, focus on what you bring to the table, what you need out of that equipment, the process that goes with it. And
make a list of questions you should ask when you're going to meet all of them because you don't know. And your assumptions are going to kill you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So awesome.
Don't worry. The new Haas I want, they offer factory training. It'll come with it.
Great. I got to train on a new machine.
I mean, you pay for it, but comes with it.
Okay.
All right, Bob. That's all I got for today.
That's enough for me.
Like, follow, subscribe. Thank you to our sponsors, and we'll see you next time.